Thumper is a hypnotic, fast-paced and visually intense rhythm action game in which you play as a space beetle, braving a hellish void to confront a mechanical giant head from the future at blistering speeds. This game came to Steam on the 10th of October 2016 and was made and published by an indie studio known as Drool. Before we start this video, I just want to warn those of you that might have sensitive eyes that this game is very visually demanding, so if you're prone to eye pain and headaches, then feel free to give this video a miss. With that said, let's see if this is a game you should pick up. So this is a game called Thumper. I've actually been recording this game for the past hour and a half now, but I just realised that my microphone was muted the whole time, so that fucking sucks for me. So let's try this again, shall we? So Thumper's a rhythm-based game that has 10 levels in total. I've been playing it for an hour and a half. I'm decently good at the game for a new player, and it took me an hour and a half to get from level 1 to finish level 4. So there's probably about 4 or 5 hours worth of gameplay to complete the game, depending on how good you are at it. Right, so this is Thumper. A and D moves me across different tracks. I obviously don't want to hit the walls. You can take damage in this game, however you can only really take damage once and survive. If you take damage twice, then you need to restart from the checkpoint. Each of these levels are split into about 10 to 50 different checkpoints, depending on the level. The only controls you'll ever use in Thumper are WASD and the Spacebar. When I see these glowing things, I need to press the Spacebar, because that gives me points. Currently I'm fighting a boss. To beat a boss, you need to get like 100% score on that specific section, and then your little scarab dude fires out a bullet and deals damage to that boss. When this thing happens, when there's the spikes, you need to press up and spacebar at the same time to jump over it. Here you'll see we have walls. I need to press spacebar and A and D so I don't crash into the wall. When you get the yellow bars appear in front of you, you need to press spacebar, if not they deal damage to you. When you get the rings, like what I've just gone through, which are above you, you need to press W and spacebar, and then you can jump up and get it. So really, Thumper's a very simple game in how it plays, but as you get further and further throughout a level, it just gets harder and harder. The tempo increases. It throws a lot of polyrhythms at you, which are incredibly hard to get your head around. And overall, it just becomes really damn difficult. So I'm just kind of riding these turns by pressing the spacebar followed by the directional key. I'm pressing spacebar every time I see one of those yellow bars in front of the tracks. And every time I see one of these blue rings, I press W and spacebar. And then my scarab jumps up and grabs them for additional points. Turning, jumping, get these things, turn, turn, got it, jump. Turn, 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 turn. This is a game in which you really need a good sense of rhythm. You also need to have quite good eyesight as well, because the game's very reactionary, I'd say. I think you could probably get away with not having the best rhythm in this game if you just have really great eyesight and reaction time. Because sometimes I'm playing this game and I'm not even listening to the music, and I can get a relative amount of success out of it. When you go around the long bends, you just need to hold your hand on spacebar and you'll go through them. As you can see, just then I took a ton of damage. So if I get hit one more time like that, then I need to restart again from the most recent checkpoint. And as you can see in the top left, I'm on level 4.9. I can imagine this game being incredibly trippy to play if you're high. There's some fantastic visuals in this game. Visually, it's a very artistic, hypnotic, and very strange game to look at. As far as I'm aware, there's like no narrative or context as to why you're playing this really speedy Sonic the Hedgehog-like scarab speeding down the track fighting these tentacled shaped bosses. It's a very interesting game indeed. It's also a game that I'm really struggling to commentate on, because you really need to pay attention to what you're doing if you're going to get any success with this game. So this is a really long bend. I just hold my finger on spacebar and the A key, and it brings me around nicely. And we got S rank, so if you get S rank, it means you got a perfect score on that certain section of the level. Now here we've got a boss fight. From what I can tell so far, each boss fight has 4 phases, and you need to 100% each of those phases to move on to the next checkpoint. So right now I'm 2 out of 4 phases. I need to shoot him a few more times and we should be good. But I've already taken 1 bit of damage, so if I screw up 1 more time, I need to start again from phase 1. This bit here is quite hard. The boss throws these really fucking weird things at you, and they're very hard to see and therefore dodge. Here we go. We need to get a perfect score. Got it. Right, that should kill it. There it is. So we beat phase 4, and now we move on to the next section. When you initially start out the game on level 1, it's not this complex straight away. The game does a really good job of introducing the various mechanics to you at a reasonable pace. If you're watching me play this game now, because I'm on level 4, it probably looks like a complete overwhelming clusterfuck to you. But the way the game teaches you how to play it is pretty good, and it makes complete sense to me, and it would probably make complete sense to you as well. But I have to say, I've never played such a hypnotic rhythm game like this before, and we died. We done fucked it. To be honest, if you was really struggling on a level and you didn't care about score, you just wanted to get to the next section, if you was completely stuck, you could just hold your finger on spacebar and press A and D to steer, because there's only a few things that will cause you to take damage. You don't have to press spacebar on all of these lights. I wouldn't say this game is as hard as something like Osu, for example. It's a lot more forgiving, and it's a lot more easier to pick up from a new player's point of view. I think for a rhythm-based game, Thumper is incredibly easy to digest. To me, Thumper is as much of an experience as it is a video game. Visually, it just kind of takes you to a new world and you just kind of lose yourself. And I really like that. Level 4.20 is an absolute ball ache. There's a lot of polyrhythms, really fast turns. Lots of things that are very hard to react to. You certainly need a next level amount of concentration. We're doing perfect so far though. Jump it. There it is. It just feels like you're going 1,000,000 miles per hour, like you're traveling at the speed of light. There's so many colors and things. It's a real sight to behold, this game. After playing Thumper for about 2 hours at this point though, it honestly feels like I've spent the entire day masturbating. My hands are in so much pain. This is hard. This is hard. Oh, we did it. Perfect. Ugh. I can't even commentate and play this game. It's something you really just need to concentrate with. I would love to play this game in virtual reality. I think it would be ridiculously trippy, fun, and it'd probably make you sick, to be perfectly honest. I also think you might struggle with this game if you suffer from epileptic fits, because there's a lot of colours and a lot of things going on screen. You need to have very good eyes to play this game. Very good eyes, good hearing, and a decent sense of rhythm if you're going to be successful. So once you're right at the end of the level, you have these guys, the final bosses. Unfortunately, most of them do appear to look the same. Just a giant dude with a skull and spikes. He is creepy as fuck. Right, this section's ridiculously hard. I don't think I can commentate. I'm just gonna have to concentrate here. Fuck! We have to start again on the boss now. We need to get this one down. Got it! Got him. And that's the end of level 4. This game also has leaderboards. As you can see, the top ranked people in the world are ridiculously good. So after playing Thumper for a few hours, I'm now going to give you my early thoughts on the game so far. When it comes to visuals, I think that Thumper is a very aesthetically pleasing and hypnotic game to play. Graphically, I think the game looks very artistic and interesting. There's a ton of different colours in your peripheral vision when you're focusing on the game. And overall, from a personal point of view, I think the game's really nice to look at. However, I can absolutely see that if you struggle with your eyes, you've got bad eyesight, this probably isn't the game for you. When I was editing this video, my girlfriend came in the room and I decided to show her this game, and she couldn't really look at the screen for very long without having eye pain. So if you've got bad eyes, this is not the game for you whatsoever, because you're probably going to get headaches and feel quite nauseous from looking at it, to be honest. I have to admit, after playing it for about 2 hours straight, my eyes are kind of sore from playing it, and I have quite good eyes typically, so I think Thumper is the kind of game that you're going to want to play in short bursts. When it comes to the gameplay, the controls of Thumper are rather simple, and I do think the game does a really good job of introducing the new mechanics to you at a reasonable pace. I think out of all of the rhythm-based games I've ever played, Thumper is probably one of the least punishing. I really like how all of the levels are split up into very small segments and checkpoints. If you fuck up in this game, which you will, you don't really have to start too far back from where you died, and to get good at this game you're going to have to work on your rhythm, build up muscle memory, and focus a hell of a lot. From what I've played of Thumper so far, I can already feel the game becoming really hard, and I'm only 40% of the way through, so I can't even imagine how hard it's going to be on the last level. I'm actually really excited to get that far, just to see how crazy it gets. But for what it is, Thumper's actually quite an expensive game, and I don't think I could recommend paying full price for it, unless of course you're a huge fan of rhythm-based games, in which case you're probably gonna love it. It's certainly a game that I'd recommend because it's very hypnotic, fun, addictive, and challenging. However, I think you're best waiting for a Steam sale with this one and pick it up at half price. So that's it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. For those of you that are new to the channel, my goal on YouTube is basically to help you discover quality new games and avoid the bad ones whilst not wasting much of your time in the process. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then please do consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, you take it easy, and I'll see you again in the next one. Each cut of your sword slices the person up in that specific location. I've just started playing this game. I'm a first-time Shadow Warrior player, and straight away the game's just started and I'm having a blast.